Thank you very much, Dr. Edith Basaliwa. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is a privilege for us to see you log on every Thursday, and we want to appreciate you as engines of Uganda's economy, job creators who are helping to shape the future of Uganda's economy. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, this morning we are going to be talking about risk and how embracing calculated risk could become an engine of business success. This morning, I want to remind all of us that the entrepreneurial journey is not a straight line. It is complex. There are always unexpected turns. Sometimes we have good things happening, and it really requires courage. And this is what many people call risk. Today, when we talk about risk, we are not just talking about reckless gambling, because some people think that, when you risk, you're gambling. But we are going to reframe risk and what it actually means in the context of growing a business. We also agree that the businesses that grow move from just a good idea to to grow. You move from the idea, you grow the business. And for you to be able to do that, you do not avoid risk. You instead have to manage it, you have to measure it, and then you turn it into an engine for growth. I always remind myself as a mother, when I remember my children, as they were starting to walk, it is a very interesting one. They do not start to walk just like that. Those of you that have seen a child, and I know all of us have had the opportunity to see a child as they do this, they do it slowly. They start by crawling, then they begin by holding on to things, maybe a chair or a table or something, and then they take a step, they take baby steps, they fall, they rise, and with time, they're able to master it, and then they can even be able to run. I always look at calculated risk, being reminded of such kind of baby steps. So when you do calculated risk in business, you're not just jumping without looking, but you're doing your homework on the market. You are also engaging yourself in piloting a new product or a service before you scale it. And today, we also talk about technology. We cannot do what we want to do without thinking about investing in technology. And also, with risk, we have to keep asking ourselves, what is the biggest possible reward that we can get after we take a specific step? This morning, we are privileged to host Mr. Jerome Magoba, who is going to be sharing with us his journey and how he has been able to take that calculated risk in his different establishments. He's the CEO of Ndugu Holdings. He is an entrepreneur with interests in finance, real estate, mining, and agro-commodities. Mr. Magoba, thank you so much for accepting to come and share with us your journey and for us to learn from you how to take calculated risk so that we can grow our businesses. You have 40 minutes to share. We shall also have a question and answer session. I would like now to invite you to make your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Diana, and everyone who has logged in. Great to be here and hear the good things you're doing at the Entrepreneurship Centre. Like I told you all, just begin with a brief introduction and share with you my journey through the entrepreneurship and different businesses I've started. And through my journey, and some stories I'll tell you of how I started my businesses and how I got to start business. You'll get to see the risks and especially, like they termed it, calculated risks that I took to, first of all, figure out which businesses I should start. Secondly, also to step in the tested waters and start the businesses I started. and also for other like business deals I've done, but through still calculated risk. So just a brief introduction. I know I've been introduced, but maybe just a small recap. Yeah, I'm Jerome Magoba. I'm a CEO of Ndugu Holdings. We have interests in finance. I'm a consultant through the finance arm of our company. I'm a consultant in a company called Ndugu Capital that I own. We do corporate finance, strategy, consultants for businesses, especially companies that are looking at raising $1 million and above. Then I also have interests in a microfinance company where we are investors and shareholders through my company. Can you hear me? Is it much better now? I can see a message that the voice is a bit low.
I think you can do.
Is it much better now?
I think we need you to raise it a little more.
Okay, I don't know whether now it's much better.
Yes,
Okay.
you can go ahead.
Yeah, great. Yeah, so through the microfinance, we have interest in the microfinance company, where we are shareholders and investors. Then I'm also into real estate. For now, I'm just doing plots, developing real estate land and reselling. Yeah, I'm also into mining and agro commodities. I will maybe give more information as we continue with the discussion regards to the businesses I do. So maybe just give you how I started business. I'll start, of course, my background is started knowing about business at a young background where I used to work with my mom in her business during holidays. You know, they take you to her shop, and she was a wholesaler. So at as early as P7, yeah, vacation. So we used to go to the shop, and you know, you get to interact with clients. You get to, you know, just these basic things about businesses, profit margins, how to talk to clients, customers, you know, stock, banking money, exposure to, you know, a number of these things, stock. You know that in businesses you have to get loans, because we used to hear our mom talking about loans. So from that time, that was my first exposure with business. And fast forward, of course, throughout my whole studying, we used to work for her. Then I went into campus. I studied law. My background is law, so I went into campus. But still at campus, I didn't. I still started some ventures. So at campus, there were basic things I used to know as a student. But at the end of the day, I still knew that I wanted to become a business person. So as my thought came onto me, and I was like, instead of just staying a student, and why don't you start some businesses at campus so that you can grow with the businesses. By the time you either graduate, your businesses have gotten somewhere, or you have gained experience, because, you know, business is through experience, and it's also growing the business and growing with the business. And it's also, you know, you start very many businesses, and sometimes it's try and error. So the earlier and younger you start, the better, so that by the time you reach a certain age and you have certain responsibilities, at least you have a business that has stabilized, and you've also found which business works for you. So at campus, I started a number of business. Actually, I registered in Ndugu Holdings. I think it was in my second year at campus, but I didn't know what I was going to do. But at the back of my mind, I knew I wanted to become a businessman. So I hadn't figured out what business I wanted to do, but I had registered a company. That time I was passionate about cars and real estate. So I started at campus, I started as a broker, small like that. So I liked very nice cars. So I used to go to brokers, take a look at high-end cars. Then I had some circles. I used to, some circles of, I would say high-end people. I wouldn't call them high-end people, but I used to approach very many lawyers, you know, as a young person for mentorship and things like that. So I thought when I get these high-end cars that I usually see them driving, I can sell to some of them. So I remember throughout my, that was around second year, I was trying to do that and also sell some land. And unfortunately, through my second year, third year, much as I tried very many, I tried to approach very many people, and I tried to sell a number of cars that I got access to. I didn't sell any throughout, I think, about the 2 years I tried to. So first things forward, I did during law school something called internship. So I joined a law firm. I'm just giving you a background of how I got into business. So it may not, you may not see it right now, but we'll get there. So I got into a law firm for internship. It was called Tesla Advocates. There were young lawyers and entrepreneur lawyers, and a law firm that was growing, and it was, I would say, a mid-tier law firm at that point. So I was impressed by this, what made me join this law firm. It was sounding at that time, it was a prominent law firm, but it was owned by young guys. So I was impressed by what those young guys had created, and I thought I'd find more value working for them and learning how they built such a law firm at a young age. There were two guys at a young age, other than joining an already established big law firm where, I would just be given work and without that kind of mentorship. Yeah, so I joined them, worked my internship, performed very well. So the end of internship, we're supposed to return to campus, but that's where I would say risk started. So I took a decision to not go back to full-time studying and just become a full-time employee for Tesla. I started as a clerk, but continue studying. Of course, I used to do evening classes. Sometimes law school was different because us, we used to just have coursework week and exams. So sometimes, which I wouldn't advise some of you to do, I wouldn't attend lectures and just stay working that side. Then later just buy material, go for coursework, then start my semester towards the end of, towards exams, read. Then, and why I made this decision was because I thought, first of all, I'd looked at, I wanted to be retained by these guys. So I saw it very strategic, staying with them, growing with them, and staying as a full-time employee at that point in time, so that by the time I graduate, I already have a job with Tesla. Then, of course, I'd seen the work they're doing, and it was good work. We had funds, we had clients that were doing mining, and this will show you how I joined mining. We had clients that were the funds that were doing currently sort of the corporate finance work that I'm doing. Then we had people that were in agro commodities. We had a number of SME businesses. So it was a place where, much as I was doing legal work, I was also learning from those businesses, which I knew that I would pick at least insights and information that would help me later on when I decide to transition from the legal into business. So yeah, finally graduated, continued working with them as an associate, then transitioned to another company that was called Yungo, which was based in the Netherlands. I was their legal counsel. Also now with Yungo, it's a company that invests in businesses. It's a fund based in Netherlands, but it invests in SMEs. So working with Yungo, I got to learn a lot about SMEs. So I got to encounter very many different businesses, and mostly in agro trade. Then also through working with them, I got some contacts that later on helped me when I started my business. So that was it in a nutshell. That's a brief background in a nutshell. I know our topic today is taking calculated risks. Embracing calculated risk as an engine of business. In fact, there's something in business people usually tell, when you start up a business, work your way up, people don't see the background work that you've done. And most times the background work done is something that right now I can term as calculated risks. Who was your first employee? Oh, because most of us, unless I don't know otherwise, some of us start from somewhere. Most of us have started as employees, but then we deviate and start up our own businesses, sort of in the fields that we're exposed to, either at a young stage, either through your first employment, either through your clients, or through the connections you got while you are employed, or while you're maybe at school or something like that. So there are very many things that happen in the background, but all that you see, most cases is, this guy is successful, but you don't see most of those things that happened in the background, how they started, what they were exposed to, the connections they got through their first exposures. So some of those things is what I would term as calculated risk. So someone will come and see. I'm seeing a question. I don't know whether I'm supposed to answer questions now, but yeah, someone is saying we should not work while studying. I would say that you should work because that's what helped me. I was just telling you that the part of where I had to, not give full time to my studies, I just decided to resign away from my studies a bit, of course, while still just attending coursework and just papers. That's basically what I was doing. But I decided to become a full-time employee with Tesla. So I'm not saying you shouldn't work while studying. I will actually advocate for that because it helps you at least have be a step ahead from your colleagues. And in this era of lack of employment, things like that, there are very many people that graduate, but how do you work strategically to see that you secure a place somewhere that even when you graduate, you already have a placement somewhere other than graduating and you get into the streets and start looking for a job like anyone else after you've graduated with your papers. So if you have the opportunity to work while studying, I would say take it on. Yeah. So let me continue with what I was telling you.
I advise that you first present, then we shall have a Q&A.
Okay. Yeah, I had seen a question coming up. Yeah. So I was saying most cases you'll say someone is lucky, but you don't know what they were exposed in to get there. And for me, I would call taking calculated risks. And I would say by taking calculated risks, you create your own luck. I would say no one in business is lucky per se, but you have to create your own luck. Like they say, in most cases, luck is when preparedness meets opportunity or opportunity meets preparedness. So in that preparedness phase is when, you take all, you work on calculating. I would say, I'm just using the words that you've put on the topic to just make it, I'm using the words you've put in the topic to correlate with what I'm saying. So during the stage of you're preparing for what business you're going to start or where you're going to be, sometimes you don't even know how you get there. But during that period is where the whole bit of calculated risks, taking calculated risk comes up. So in most cases in business, we all have ideas, I want to start this business. I want to, move into agro. Later on, even sometimes you just want to become a businessman, but you don't know what to do. You have ideas, but you have, without putting these ideas into action, nothing can come into fruition. Yeah, we all start businesses, but we don't have guaranteed results. It's like someone that opens up a shop or someone that starts up, I would say, whichever company. You open up a shop, you have no contract with a customer. You've taken that risk. But most cases, if I open up in a shop in this area, or if I open up in a supermarket in this residential area, I would when I open up a supermarket, I'll have to open it up in such a place. Or if I open up such a business, it has to be in such a place because of certain things or certain, I would say certain characteristics of that place. Or if I open up, let's say, like I said, let me give an example of a shop in a residential area. Because the place is a residential area and it's a growing residential area, I'm sure I'll have customers. Or if I open up a printery at a university, I'll have clients other than opening it up in a certain different place or residential area. So by doing that, number one, by making choice of where you're going to open up and what kind of business you're going to open up, you're taking a calculated risk because calculating that risk and that informs you on what business that you're going to start is the end game, is what informs you on the business, is what you'd call the calculated risk. And that is going to inform you on where to start and what to do. So it's like I told you, most cases, you're not guaranteed, you don't have a contract, but at least you have an idea that if I do it in a certain place, I'm going to get customers, more customers are going to come. So you have to be strategic in terms of what business you're going to start, where you're going to start. Do I have another question I usually tell people, what are your characters? Like, what is your characteristics? Like what personal traits do you have? You know, is the business that I'm going to start, or even in employment, sometimes I tell people, if you're going for a certain job, do you have certain traits? Because, you know, with business, the certain traits you should have, you know, resilience. Someone that is not resilient may not really, I wouldn't say succeed in business, but it may be very difficult for you, you know. Now, another thing I would say is, like I told you, you have no contract with a customer. I'd also give an example of maybe someone that thinks you're going to start up, let's say, exporting pigs to the UAE and make money from that. That is not an informed decision. It's not strategic. It's not calculated, because at the end of the day, that's something they don't partake in. So you, with all the businesses you're starting with, all the businesses and all decisions you take, you have to have a bit of insight and take a bit of calculated decisions in terms of where you want to go, where you should start, and which business you should start. Anyway, leaving that aside, I will now just continue with my entrepreneurial journey, and I'll give you some stories on how I got into the risks I've taken. So first things forward, I told you I left Tesla, went to Iwongo, where I worked as legal counsel, so interfacing with these SMEs. So through there, I was doing legal work, but I was learning. So we have clients, but me, I wasn't looking at only being a lawyer for the clients. I got to see their businesses. I know how they, how they started their businesses, their stories, their challenges. Basically, it's all about not providing only legal work, but getting to understand the business, in the perspective of the businessman. So after living in Dugu Capital, like I told you, from where even after joining law school, I'd always wanted to be business. So around that time, I was still running my businesses, the small businesses that I was telling you about. And like I told you, I'd already registered in Dugu Holdings. With Iwongo Capital, at that time, I think I was about 23, and I would say it's also a very good advantage starting young, because you have chances to make very many mistakes. You get sometimes you get exposure early, so you get exposure early, you make mistakes, there's a lot of try and error. So at that point in time, by the time I joined, by the time I joined Iwongo as their legal counsel, I had a very big experience through Tesla, and joining Iwongo as their legal counsel. I joined, the salary was good. I think at that point I was around 23. I was making about $1,500. And honestly, I would say there's not much I did with that money. I just like not any young person myself, I would say, for lack of a better word, I enjoyed myself at a young age. Of course, much as I was still investing in my businesses and trying, but sometimes things weren't working out. So after 6 months of Iwongo Capital, I still had that urge of starting businesses. I mean moving full time into business. By the time I left Tesla, I was already transitioning into business. Iwongo just came as I would say like a blessing in disguise, or like basically something like a bonus. And as I was leaving Tesla, so I just worked for them for 6 months, stacked some cash. Then suddenly I just tendered in my resignation. But at the time I tendered in my whole plan was to stack some cash from Iwongo, then move full time into business. And but unfortunately, by the time I decided, I resigned. I would call it impulsively. I just woke up one day and like, I'm tired of employment. I think it's too late. I mean, it's if I keep on employed, it may be too late for me. By the time I start a business, I may have some responsibilities that may not allow me, to take risk. I may have some responsibilities, that may not, when you start a business, there's that phase, there's that stage where you're in the trenches. So if you maybe have a family, if you have, it may not be an easy path at that point in time when you have such responsibilities. So one day I just wake up as I'm like, before it's too late, let me just resign. So at that point in time, I'd gotten the idea of Indugu Capital. That was offering corporate finance consultancy. So corporate finance, like I told you, I would help and strategy. So I'd help businesses get financing. So remember, from TASLAF, we worked with clients that were financing businesses. Yeah. So that's the background. So fast forward, Iwongo was one of our clients. So Iwongo poached me from TASLAF. So at Iwongo, that's when I got the idea. Actually, the idea at Iwongo was generated in that when I was trying to take a look at the data room of the company, I saw that the company had a policy where they used to offer 2% commission to people that recommend good companies for them to invest in. So I thought, other than earning a salary, if I got businesses and recommended them to different good financiers, especially because their terms are always better than banks, and I would make much more money. Other than, it wasn't even about the money, it was about the business, starting a business, and the freedom that comes with employment. So that's how I started in Indugu Capital. So my first client was my friend called Julius. He runs a company that does export coffee. We are still together, director in his company, and we still work together. It's called JKCC. So, and I had met Julius at TASLAF when we were together at campus, but we lost touch. So I met him at TASLAF when I was doing a deal for Iwongo Capital as their lawyer before I'd even joined them as an internal lawyer. So I helped him with documentation and a number of things and gave him a green light. So we kept on interacting. So when I was at Iwongo, I pitched him the idea. I saw he needed a lot of money that Iwongo couldn't provide him with. So he had reached a point where he needed as much as $500K, $1 million, $2 million. So I thought, no, but if I look for financiers and link them up to Julius and any other people, I think that would make me money. That would make me money that I would use later on to also start my other businesses. And in most cases, I didn't want to start small. I didn't want to start small businesses. Of course, we have different ambitions. And for me, I've always wanted to make it big. I've always wanted to, have big businesses. I would say I started small, but the businesses I start are businesses that later on, I would say, for lack of a better word, the big businesses. Yeah. So I didn't want to start small. So the capital that I needed was big at that point in time. The businesses I wanted to start are businesses you just can't start with 1 million, 2 million. So that was my strategy for getting capital. So at that point in time, I knew I had background from TASLAF, doing deals as a lawyer, background from Iwongo, doing deals as a lawyer, and also at Iwongo I'd started doing courses in finance because I knew with Indugu Capital, I would need to do a bit of finance for the clients and things like that. So I did small online courses, very many courses about the businesses I want to do, about finance. During that time, we were with Iwongo, we didn't have a lot of, I wouldn't say we didn't have a lot of work. It was a work from home job. So my free time, I used to do a lot of courses. And most of these courses have come to help me in the businesses that I'm now doing. So yeah, I did some finance courses. Anyway, first things forward, I approached this company. So at that point in time, we have discussions on the side when I'm still working with Iwongo, and they tell me, you know what, we are ready to invest in JKCC. We had done an agreement where they were going to invest about, at that time, I think it was about $1 million. Yeah, so I knew I had my commission to at least start off. So I wake up one day, then I have another deal I was chasing in Nairobi. And, with work, they tell you have to ask for leave, then you have to submit worksheets. And honestly, like, I'd reached that point where I was like, I'm really tired of employment and time is shifting. I really need to start my business. I really need to start somewhere so that by the time I clock either 30, I'm 5 years, 4 years into business and my businesses have already grown. Yeah, so I resigned from Iwongo, went to Nairobi. That time I was chasing still another deal also in financing. I resigned actually with like only my 1 month salary at that point. Yeah, 1 month salary, because initially my plan was to start about 6 months, but as a young man, I spent that money enjoying myself. I want to be honest with you because those are some of the mistakes I've made, but some mistakes I have no regrets. Yeah. So I had only 1 month. I burnt through that money. At that point in time, I was under impulse. I'm trying to try out this business, trying to try out this business. So some of them I knocked, but still I stuck to Ndugu Capital because I knew what it was going to get me at. I knew, first of all, this is a business that was going to help me get capital to venture into other businesses. And still, I knew I had the background through my former employees and through the exposure I'd gotten. So I joined in Ndugu Capital. I started in Ndugu Capital, I would say, as having taken a calculated risk based on my background and based of my character also as a deal maker, and also based on my traits that I have, negotiating, networking and things like that. So that was a calculated risk that I took to start that business in particular. So the first year, I'll tell you, things didn't work out. Even the deal I thought we were going to close, these guys finally, like we call it these days, they ghosted us. We didn't hear from them. So I started trying left, right, center. In the meantime, I was still doing small small legal work to help pay my rent, pay bills, because at that point in time, I'd totally resigned. But I'd made a decision. I was like, I know Ndugu Capital will work out. Let me keep on pushing. And I know at the end of the day, much as things are not working out now, I know through my background, through my work, through my networks, I'll close on some deals. Yeah, I got more clients other than Julius, but as I kept on pushing, things weren't working out. So my first about 8 months to about 10 months of resigning, I didn't make any money from Ndugu Capital. And this was someone that left a job of about, by the time I left Iwungu, I was closing on 2K, and I was still young. I was about 23, turning into 24 at that point in time. And now I was back to zero. I'd burned through all my savings. I didn't have anything, but at least I knew that my idea was going to work out because I'd seen it working out. Corporate finance work was working. Businesses were big in Kenya. Even at a young age, even joining law school, I knew I wanted to do private equity, corporate finance, but it wasn't a big thing in Uganda. So I kept on pushing that year. I burned through my savings. I remember I borrowed from my mom, also trying to chase another deal, thinking that it will work out. It also didn't work out. I got to zero. And whenever I tell people this story, whenever entrepreneurs tell you some stories and their experiences in trenches, sometimes you think they're lying. So I reached a point where I remember there's a day I had to borrow about 1,000 shillings from my neighbor for yaka. I didn't know how to cook. I used to eat, order out, go out, have a good time. But at this point in time, I was forced to learn how to cook. Yeah, because I knew I would buy the rice or something and start cooking. And it takes me for about 3 days, 4 days. There's a day, I think there's a time when I was still working and used to go to City Oil. When you buy fuel for 150K, they give you Porsche or something that I have forgotten that thing, Supreme. So I'd stacked it home. I think it was there for about 6 months previously. There's a day I was so hungry, so I had to get that Supreme. I tried to do Porsche, but I don't know, whatever turned out wasn't Porsche, but I didn't have what to eat. I ended up eating that. It was a tough situation, but I had to prove, first of all, to myself that I'm going to make it. Then I had very many people who were telling me, you left a nice job. My parents, things like that, they were telling me, no, why did you leave this job? And why didn't you continue with LDC? Because I refused to do LDC intentionally because I wanted to transition. I felt like had I gone back to school and continue with LDC path, it would keep me in the whole, it would sort of keep me in the law industry or the practicing law, and I would spend the rest of my life there, and probably I wouldn't have taken that initiative to move into business or to transition. So that's 8 months to around 10 months. It was close to a year. I was crazy. It was a tough period of my time, but I used that time to mainly read about entrepreneurship. I used to read autobiographies of business people. I took very many courses. in the businesses I wanted to do. I wanted to do mining, renewable, a number of things, and businesses that I thought I'd advise on through my corporate finance company. So I was doing courses, I was trying to do networking, networking courses, so that by the time opportunity comes to me, it finds me with the skills, with the knowledge. Yeah, so that's how I was trying to prepare myself. So after I think it was about 10 months, I closed my first deal with JKCC. That was an investment deal. And at that time, after that suffering, I think at that time there's a deal I closed and I made about 20K. And remember at Iwungo, I was earning about 1.5. So I made close to the money I used to make in a year. I would have made in a year at Iwungo in one deal. So that's when things started turning around. Yeah, so we continued. I got more clients through the corporate finance, but JKCC continued to be my big client. So I grew with them as their financial needs grew. I linked them up with financiers. I grew the business. I actually got a number of financing companies that entered agreements with me to look for companies that they can invest in Uganda and across East Africa. Yeah, so as my clients' financial needs grew, my earning also grew. So we have reached at a level where we are now doing deals that's through Ndugu Capital, and with some of my clients of $10 million, $5 million, and with that money is what I've been using to start and invest in other companies. And it has reached a point where now Ndugu Capital is even not the main businesses. These other businesses are now growing. So I'll just give you some other examples of my different companies in finance, how I got to start them, and how I met the people, how I took the risks.
Hello, Jerome. I advise you summarize in the next 3 minutes.
Okay, let me summarize. So moving forward, I'll tell you a story. Let me move to real estate. So real estate is something I've started recently. Since I don't have enough time, I was going to take you through all the other companies, how I started and the risks I took. Let me start with real estate because this is at least a good story I can tell you about taking calculated risks. So of course, real estate, I'd known about real estate from the time I was young. I used to, and I was passionate about YouTube. I watch real estate videos. I take walks around, taking a look at buildings, things that really fascinated me, but I didn't know I would get into real estate. So as a lawyer, I started doing mortgages and land transactions. Yeah, then through Ndugu Capital, I worked on a deal for a real estate company. Then after making some money, I was looking at things to invest in. So previously, it was about 3 years ago, my dream was to own at least 100 by 50, a plot of 100 by 50 in Chira. Yeah, that was my dream. I just wanted to own 100 by 50 and, build my house. And I know I stay in Chira because it's a new place that's booming with, almost every, it's I would call it maybe the new Munyonyo or something like that. That was my dream. I just wanted one plot. Yeah. So when I met someone, I was looking for places to invest in. I mean places to, when I made some money, some money from a deal that I did about last year, I thought about real estate. So a chance landed me onto a broker and I told him I wanted to buy some land. And I told him, a young person, so I want to buy land, but I don't want to buy land as someone who has been at the price of someone who has been working for 15 years or someone who's in their 50s or something like that. I told him just look for me for below market value deals or people who have issues and they're selling but in Chira. So that's how I started. He got me a first deal of about half an acre that I bought. So after the first half an acre deal, it was way below market value. So luckily enough, I closed on some other deals through Ndugu Capital, got more money. And at that point in time, I started understanding the real estate deal and the broker had started understanding the kind of deals I'm looking for. So chance landed me onto about 1.5 acres in Chira that I bought at a price I won't mention here, but it's way, way below market. Okay, I'll just mention it was, I bought it at about 200 million market value. For Chira was per acre, it was 600 million, 500 million. I bought 1.5 acres at 200 million. So after about a month, I started developing it. So I didn't have money to develop it. So I was thinking of borrowing some money. So I developed it. Then I subdivide and start selling. So I started doing some work on it for about a month. Then, of course, I had some friends that came and looked at the land. That like, no, this there were more of people that work in real estate, but in valuers and some surveyors. Some of them were giving me a negative feedback. They're like, this land may not work money. May not make money for you based on where you bought it. But me, I believed. I told them I'm a land developer. I'll add value to this land. So there were a lot of people that tried to put me down in regards to where I bought. May not work for you. I remember someone telling me, certain friend of ours was telling me, you've been, for lack of a better word, like they said, kufera, because this land is not good, things like that. So I tried within a month to do some work, clear it, try to level it, but there was still a lot of work I had to do. So I needed about 70 million, 80 million, to develop the land. But at that point in time, I'd gotten some people who had seen the place because it was in a good neighborhood. So they had told me, no, if you develop this place, we can buy. Then first thing forward, about taking risk in business. So I took risk to buy that place. But just after about 2 weeks into the new month, I get a call from a buyer and he tells me he has an investor that wants to buy that place, the whole land. So I traveled. So when I come back, I meet them. We talk, and I find the serious people. And guess what? He tells me this investor is offering us. I want to mention the money here, but it was over 1 billion shillings for land at bought 200 million. Yeah. So at that point in time, I remembered my friends were telling me, this is a bad place. This place won't work for you. You have been furthered, things like that. So I'd taken that risk. I didn't know that this guy is going to come in. My plan was to subdivide, sell my plots either within 6 months, make my profit, or it would take a year. I didn't know who was going to buy the plot. But I knew the place I'd bought, first of all, was prime. I know the value of that place increases. And I know that it's a place where everyone is buying now. I knew I'd get customers. I'd not made any contract with someone. My plan was to just sell as an estate. But now here I get someone who wants to buy the whole place. And they told me they wanted to set up a factory. And so first thing forward, just a few weeks ago, we closed on the deal. And that's how I ended up, selling that place and now acquiring another place that I'm also subdividing and going to do real estate. It's something I just started. I didn't have any idea about. I just started, just to keep my money there. Right now, I'd say I've closed my first deal, and that whole estate has been sold, and especially to one person. Now I'm moving into another estate. Maybe this is another story about this other estate, but through someone who introduced me to the person that bought the first place, has also introduced me to someone who also wants to buy the whole other 2 acres, which is something. Basically, I would say I took a risk. I didn't know I was going to get any buyers, didn't know, but now these are people that have come and that are taking over the whole place. So these are some of the things, like I told you, with business, these are risks we take, but you still take calculated. Because I bought in a place that I knew was prime, I didn't go and buy in places that I knew I wouldn't, it would take long to recoup my money, or I wouldn't know that were places that were easily marketable. My thing was, I would rather buy in a place that is slightly a bit expensive, but I know is easily marketable. So I took that calculated risk, knowing that if I buy at this place, I will easily market it. If I subdivide my plots, the people that buy in Chira are people that can afford to spend 150 million, 90 million on a plot, and I'll make good profit. Yeah, I didn't go and buy in other places where I know I'm going to sell my plots to people that are buying at 15 million, 10 million, pay me, first deposit 5 million. That was not the kind of business I wanted to do. So I took that calculated risk of where to buy, targeting the people, clientele that I wanted, and what financial position at the clientele I want to buy from me. So that was a calculated risk I took. So there are very many other maybe stories I can tell you in different other businesses that I've done, the agro commodities, how I got into mining, and maybe I've also gotten into cocoa business now. All of them are similar stories of, you meet someone, you didn't even know you'd be in certain business like this, but because of your background, because you've done deals through Ndugu Capital, you did deals through Iwongo, you had such clients at Taslaf that were doing similar businesses, so you had a bit of exposure. So you're not going there as someone who doesn't know anything. At least you have some background insight, or you have some internal insight and a bit of background in those businesses you're venturing in. So for now, that's how I've been operating my businesses. So you told me I have 3 minutes. I think I've spent the 3 minutes. I'd still give you I'd plan to give you stories for each business I ventured in, but I think due to the interest of time, maybe I can stop here. I just wanted to give you that real estate business because it was something that I also didn't expect, and the return was crazy, and I'd never expected to get into real estate. I'd never expected to even sell that estate within 1.5 months. Yeah.
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you so much, Mr. Jerome Magoba. Thank you very much for sharing your experience. Your experience is very inspiring and very exciting. Thank you so much for finding time to come and share with us. You've done well, and we appreciate you. We've learned a lot from you. We can see a lawyer who has turned into a business person. And what I've picked is that you need to do a lot of trials and errors to be able to gain experience in doing trial and error. And out of that, you are able to manage risks accordingly. I note that you started business as early as your primary school when you went with your mom to her shop. We appreciate your mother for making you start early, being exposed to the business world. And that is the passion you've kept. When we see and hear you talk through what you've done, I think the passion started as early as that. And you kept remembering you must be a business person, you must be a business person. So even when you went into doing law, you continued doing businesses. You carried on businesses throughout your early years. Even when at bachelor's, you are doing business. We appreciate you. Thank you very much. I know we don't have a lot of time, but I would like to invite either Mr. Bone Kagaba or Josh to handle the Q&A session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Edith Basarira. Good morning, everyone on the call. My name is Karahanga Joshua. I'm going to take us through the Q&A. I work at the center, and also just want to appreciate Mr. Magoba for the presentation. Due to the interest of time, I'm just going to go straight to the questions. Mr. Magoba, I'm going to share with you, I think, about 3 questions, and then you can respond to them. I'll try to take them in order of the way they came. I see I'll start with the Q&A, one from Honorable Roy, who asks, how can we ensure that our risk management strategies align with our business goals and objectives? That is one. And then if I jump into the chat, there's a question here. I think someone needed to rename their gadget, but they're asking, Mr. Jerome, can someone start a business and succeed without undergoing business courses, just like the way you did? And then another one from Anne Ruth, who asks, what business courses do you recommend? Thank you. So just those 3 questions, you can respond.
Maybe if you could just, for the first
repeat. So the first one is from Honorable Roy, who asks, how can we ensure that our risk management strategies align with our business goals and objectives?
Okay, maybe starting with Roy's. Risk management aligns with your business goals. So number one, of course, different businesses have different kinds of risk management. If it's real estate, if it's consultancy, if it's basically different businesses have different risk management. So the key thing is even before starting a business, yeah, I would encourage you to maybe start a business where you still have a bit of background or insight on. You just don't start a business. I haven't done real estate. I've gotten 500 million and I'm just going to do real estate. Or I don't have any idea about real estate. I've just woken up, let me start real estate. So that's the first level of risk management. Either you can do risk management through educating yourself about the business you're going to do if you don't have experience in it. There's also educating yourself for some of these businesses, honestly. Let's say like mining, I took courses, courses that taught me the business. I did a course that taught me the business of mining before I'd even gotten a mining deal, but I had exposure of mining at Tesla where I was doing licensing for mining companies. So number one, I think the first thing to do is have some exposure about the business. You venturing into the business with a bit of exposure and I would say experience. It could be experience, it could be exposure through studying or educating yourself about the business is the first level of risk management you can do so that you enter something you have an idea about and you know. So along the way, of course, there's always trial and error, but along the way you start, developing systems of risk management. Yeah, because you know the business. So now you've along the way, there will be ups and downs, but through the process of the business, the challenges you get at that point in time, as you've started the business, you counter them with different avenues of risk management. But me, the thing I always talk about is educating yourself about the business, either having experience about the business. That's where you start from, because you'll see all these business people that we have in Uganda. You'll find the businesses they're doing, they were either previously employed in the businesses, they were either have family background from the businesses, their parents were doing similar businesses, or they were exposed in all these businesses in one way or another. So for me, I think that is the first level of risk management that you could take. And like you said, aligning with your business goals. So if you have different businesses you want to do or you want to venture into, so you have to start with that, educating yourself, getting experience in the businesses, or I think that is it basically, in my own view. Yeah. Then I think the second question, I am saying, maybe you could.
Can I repeat for you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the second question was asking. The second question was the person was asking about if it's necessary to undergo these business courses for you to succeed, and then the question after that was someone asking what business courses do you recommend?
So it's not necessary for you to do business courses to succeed. Of course, it gives you an insight of because much as yes, most cases, they tell you anyone can be an entrepreneur, but sometimes if you want to, depends on the business you want to do. Because if you take a look at, if you want to start up a business, and I usually tell people that I used to tell people that I don't want to build any other businessman, just a local entrepreneur. I want to become a professional businessman. If you see the likes of, I would say, the people I look up to, like the likes of Charles Mbiri, the likes of Emmanuel Katongo, the kind of businesses they're doing, that is the path I'm looking at. Not just normal, I've set up a shop here in Chukua, I'm putting trading and things like that, things that will outlive my legacy. So if you're looking at that path, you'll find that, yeah, much as you've started up a business, you're an entrepreneur, you can take risks, yeah, but there are certain skills you also need to build as an entrepreneur. I've interfaced with certain entrepreneurs that have that, they're good entrepreneurs, but they're not good at management. They're good entrepreneurs, but they're not good at managing people, managing HR, So sometimes, and when you're starting as an entrepreneur, most cases, you're the one doing all this. So sometimes you have to build some skills in some of these places. If you're not going to employ people, build some skills. You go for, business. I mean, you can do some courses that basically are not to help you start the business, but to help you run the business better. So that's why I would say you don't need to do business courses, but along the business, your journey as an entrepreneur, and if you want to become professional with your business, you may find that you need to take up some trainings. They may not necessarily be business training. Sometimes you take out courses in financing. Finance. If you now have grown your businesses where you have to do books of accounting, but you've never studied accounting, you've never, just to have an idea of how do I read a statement of account. So you may have to take up some courses just to make you a better entrepreneur, but you don't need to, study a business course to become an entrepreneur, to start a business and to succeed in business. Then the last one is what business courses? It's not per se that you need to take business courses. Of course, I did courses because of the nature of the businesses I want to do. I did a course in finance. These are just short courses that you can do online. There's something called Coursera. There are very many courses there that you can pay for even less than $100, even $50, but they're very good courses. But also I'd advise you to also just read. You don't even have to study. You can read about your industry. If you're into real estate, read about the books about real estate, read about real estate, read about people that have started and grown real estate companies. I always prefer reading autobiographies instead of reading self-help books, because there I get to live through the journey of someone who started up a business. I see their ups and downs. Actually, during that time when I was in the trenches, what used to keep me going was I used to read some books and I'm like, oh, you know what? This guy went through the worse than I am in right now. So that means I'll make it. So it kept me going. It kept me, having faith in myself. So not necessarily that you have to take courses, read books about your industry, even when you're in employment, about your industry, take courses about your industry. It makes you a better employee, or it would also make you a better businessman, because you get that exposure through books, through people's lives. That have done what you want to do. And through the business, you get that exposure, you get a bit of mentorship. You see, with mentorship, you don't have to meet the person that he has to be my mentor. Someone can mentor me through their book. Yeah, so that is it basically.
Thank you very much. I hope I'm still audible here. I'm thinking because of interest of time, we might have to close Q&A for now, but the team here at the center is going to compile the remaining questions and share them with you, Mr. Magoba, for a response. And usually our responses, we share them in our WhatsApp group. There's a link in the chat where you can join the WhatsApp group. Other than that, there's just maybe one pressing issue. I think members on the chat would like to get your contact. I don't know if you could either share it in the chat, you want to read it out, or type it in the chat so that members can reach you for any other consultation. Mr. Magoba, do you want to share that in the chat, or you want to read it out?
I'll just share it in the chat, but always better to reach me on WhatsApp. Direct calls I may not pick.
All right.
With a WhatsApp message.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, with that, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for logging in into today's session. Mr. Magoba, thank you as well for answering the questions, and for all the questions coming in. We thank you. We look forward to seeing you next week again. I would like to hand it back to Dr. Edith Basalira, our host this morning, and wish you all a blessed day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Josh, for managing the Q&A. And thank you very much, Mr. Jerome Magoba, for further interacting with our participants who are logged on this morning. We have learned a lot from you, and I know everybody who logged on this morning has learned a lot from you. We appreciate you. Thank you very much. I know we are going to call you again to come and share more stories with us, because your stories are very exciting. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got to the top of the hour. I don't want to keep you here any longer, but I would like to invite Dr. Igasraji, if he's still logged on, Dr. Igasraji, to make his closing remarks. Dr. Igasraji is a in the Department of Entrepreneurship and Innovation in the Faculty of Entrepreneurship and Small Business Management. I would like to invite Dr. Igasraji to make his closing remarks.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Edith.
We can hear you very well. Kindly go on.
Thank you, Jerome. It's really been interesting and inspiring. Of course, talked about your journey, how you started. I believe many people here have picked on those key points that you have talked about, and learning has taken place. You've talked about taking risks. in business. You've talked about
Dr. Iga, I think we've lost you. Look, looks like we've lost Dr. Iga. He was giving his closing remarks. I think his network was not good, but would like to add my voice to appreciate Mr. Jerome. Thank you very much for making such a wonderful presentation. I will be calling you again to come and share with us more. We've learned a lot. The trials we make, preparations we make as we are trying out businesses here and there are the risks that we are making. Thank you very much and wish you a blessed Thursday. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for logging on this morning. We wish you a blessed Thursday. Bye-bye for now.
You gotta get up. You gotta get up and make a move. 'Cause the world will never see you until you do. No, they don't really care what you're going through. So you gotta show them, baby. You gotta show them the real you. You gotta give them what you've got. No, don't let them see what you're not. 'Cause you are strong. You are wise. You are worth beyond 1,000 reasons why. And you can't be perfect, baby. 'Cause nobody's perfect, darling. But no, 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 there's nobody in the world like you. What do you do when you can't let go? What do you say when you just don't know how you feel? And you know nobody knows how you feel. 'Cause everybody's got their own damn problem. So everybody's trying to find their way. And day by day is a struggle. In this world, you know you have to hustle. Just know that you're not alone. You don't always have to be strong all by yourself. I said it's okay to ask for help. Now listen, people will find you, but they don't define you. And you will find people who help redesign you. People will find you, but they don't define you. And you will find people who help redesign you. You are a work of art. Bet you didn't think you'd come this far. Now here you are. Baby, you are strong. You are wise. You are worth beyond 1,000 reasons why. And you can't be perfect, baby. 'Cause nobody's perfect, darling. But no, 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 there's nobody in the world like you.